everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the mystery of Ashlands, the StarStable documentary I've written down today. We're going to be going over some bullet points, quests, hints, and teasers from StarStable that we have gotten about Ashland, and some things you might not know because I really dug through everything I could. We will get to the credits later, and if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video, but if you're interested in the mystery of Ashland like me, then listen to this documentary I've prepared for us and enjoy. The players were first introduced to Dino Valley on the 12th of November 2014. It was then released November 19th, 2014. And as we can see, the Ashlands were already revealed to the players. But the players were left unsatisfied, as we have not gotten a chance to unlock the Ashlands yet. But what is the origin of the name Ashlands? It is said that the area is called Ashlands because the sulfur smoke, or the smoke from the graters, is always seeping through the ground, and it always rains ash. The closest we can currently get to Ashland is by the Ashen Steep, or others said the Ash Road. But since the entrance is blocked, we cannot enter the area as of 2025. When you get to the Ash Road, you will be warned with a message: the road to Ashland is blocked. Which once again tells us we cannot access this area. But how come we have footage of people that aren't ambassadors? Well, back then it was way more complicated. I believe you had to go to the mall and sit on a bench to turn your whole Jorvik black, and then go on the hills to access the Ashlands. Now, a decade later, you can just climb the hill, fall down, and you'll be in the Ashlands without any issue or warning. Which honestly makes me think, why don't we get a warning? Isn't the Ashlands supposed to be like a secretive place? Maybe they want us to explore and find out more, or maybe just make us invested in the game and keep playing. I must once again mention the area blocker. We've seen these before in Fort Pinta, Steve's, and Dundal. But if you think about it, we've unlocked both Fort Pinta and Steve's, and we know that the Dundal symbol leads to the central Jorvik, which probably won't be unlocked as the map of the whole Jorvik, world is not canon anymore. But again, we have seen these before and we have unlocked those areas, so maybe Ashland is next? StarStable has been very vividly hinting at a new area, but I believe that it will be the Merchant Cast Castle because of the dragon horses and the medieval camp. But again, it's been there forever. Why should it be updated before Ashland, a more important place in the story? Mika's Musings. There was this one book in the Rainbow Festival that mentioned Ashlands, and it read along the lines of Mika's Musings, The Stoneground Expedition Part 1. Would you believe me if I told you there were corners of Jorvik yet to be discovered? What if I said those corners are closer than you think? Not someplace halfway across the island, but a horse's stride, away from somewhere you might call home. This week, my Uncle Nick and I have been exploring Dino Valley. We came across a winding road at the base of a rocky mountain, leading to lands yet known. I could smell the sulfur in the air, see smoke rising in the great plumes in the snowy sky. I knew whatever lay beyond was, I don't know that word, and more extraordinary than I could ever imagine. I turned to my uncle, eager to continue, but he looked at me with a solemn face and only had one thing to say: the road to Ashlands is blocked. I don't have a lot to say about this, as this is the basic information we already know, but StarStable has already laid out a story base about Ashlands, I guess. The StarStable team has shared their opinion through a quest in the game that I can't quite recall, but I've gotten a photo of it, so I will read it too. Some equestrians have posted to YouTube what they claim to be footage shot inside this smoldering location. Experts have debunked this footage as fake, because if it was authentic, surely the area would include a home stable and a fraction shop. StarStable was aware of us glitching into Ashland. But did they block it? No, they let us. And they said that in the future, maybe it will include a home stable and a faction shop, if it ever releases at all. But I think the chances of a home stable and a faction shop are very small in an area like this. So they basically played a prank on us. Updates. Some minor texture updates, terrain updates, and apparently snow in the winter, which I am aware of, but I think the old Ashlands still look better. How does StarStable manage to mess up something that we've never even been allowed to see before? I really don't understand where this game is going. The Dragon Horses. Faramir and Aldrak both have the same story, which I will now read to you again. Basically, a stable hand in Jorvik left into the heart of Jorvik, the Ashlands, into the crater of Garnock's Fury to search for gems because she wanted to be rich. She headed home to present her treasures to the queen. Before her audience, the gems split open, revealing a pair of scaly dragons. In the blink of an eye, the dragons transformed into majestic horses. So basically these are from the crater of Garnock's Fury, which is the volcano. But instead of putting them into the Ashlands, they are now at medieval camp, which I don't really understand. Arissa's dolls. She is the most recent Dark Rider we've met. She was shown in the newest main quests. Her dolls spawn all around Jorvik, but there is one in particular on the road to Ashland. This shows that StarStable is still thinking about Ashland as of now, but it could be just a coincidence. The cottage. This is the only building in Ashland so far. It's a simple brick house with a red roof. And there's light inside, but we don't know who lives there. It is the exact same model as Elizabeth's older house. So some people thought she might have lived there, but she's dead, so. Some people also thought that Mr. Sands could live there because maybe he got evicted from the mansion. In the newest quests, it was also mentioned that Mr. Sands will ensure that Garnock triumphs, which basically means wins. Or Draco could live there, since they both would want to be close to Garnock and the volcano is called Garnock's Fury. But we really don't have anything confirmed. The volcano, or also known as Garnock's Fury. I believe it is still active, so maybe it is possible that Garnock can rise from the volcano, as it's called Garnock's Fury, of course. Even though Garnock is in Pandoria, it would only make sense. We have also seen Garnock in the circus, so I believe he can rise anywhere, but we can only assume. So we are nearing the end of the video, but I would like to mention some dialogues from the actual game that include a few words or so about Ashland. We all know that Idris is a fortune teller. Well, he has said something about Ashland. You have been obsessed of late with the land of fire and ash, and with good reason. You should ignore this omen. Your future will be uncertain indeed. But I have good news. By engaging in serious soul searching, you can put your mind at ease and find luck and understanding at last. Which, I don't really know what to take from that, but StarStable knows that the players are invested. The Equestrian Festival also has a dialogue about the Ashland, which reveals a story we haven't been told before. These rangers can be found next to the fireplace in Moorland, also near the area that takes you to the trail ride in Furgrove. I do not have a picture, but I can read it for you. So the first dialogue goes along the lines: "Did you hear about that story Alonso was telling us the other day? Apparently there was a ranger that got lost in the blizzard in Dino Valley. They were brought to safety by their horse and led them up to a mountain." And then it continues with, "But this wasn't any old mountain. It was a volcano. They ended up trekking through the scorched earth until they stumbled across a cottage with a red roof. They rested there until the storm passed and made their way back home safely. Who knows where they truly were? Could it be the Ashlands? No, mate, that's just a story. Anyway, has anyone seen my horse Shay? It has been there for over 2 years though, so I don't think it's very recent and has any connections with the Ashland today. But again, StarStable has shown clues that they still do care about Ashland, but one of their employees said that it was just a placeholder and will never be unlocked. I don't know what to believe, but I really hope I get to see the day that it's released. The mules are the next horses to be released, and in a short text about them, we can see the word Ashlands. For mule uniqueness, we had a few ideas that we might need to test before we get the production started. The mule being sturdy, we could do mountain climbing, raccoon jumping, random unpredictability of mulish quality. Unfortunately, the risk of players venturing out to the Ashlands or jumping into places not meant to be jumped into, or random unpredictability becoming too random. It can't be done without proper gameplay design to make it justice or fun enough. We had to stay within the confines of what the SSO horses could do. So that probably means we won't be going to the Ashlands with the mules, but again, I said I dug through everything I could, so I just wanted to mention. In the first season of the championship ribbons, the 6th one was called the Jorvik Crimson. They went in an order that said Moorland, Fort Pinta, Golden Hills, South Hoof, Dino Valley, Ashlands, and then you were rewarded as the Jorvik champion. I thought that these were in the order of released areas, but again, Mistfall isn't there, and neither is Tailtop Village or Wildwoods, so they aren't in any order in particular, but it starts with Moorland and ends with Ashland. This doesn't need any deeper meaning, but we've unlocked every area except Ashland. Maybe this was a sign that Ashland was supposed to be released close after Dino Valley, yet it never was. Now, the last thing I would like to include are some sounds that I found from StarStable that could be possibly leading up to a quest in Ashland, or any quest there is. There are a few from this month and a few from the last month. There is a whole disc with sounds that is called the End Arc, which basically could mean the end of the story, since it's called the End Arc. I won't say who created it, but if you really dig, you can find it. By the name of the file, we can tell that it's a Garnock vocal, which means that it's a sound from Garnock, of course. It could be because we've seen him before in the quests in Pandoria or in the circus. But again, it's from a month ago. There are a few more vocals from Garnock that I will now play for you. I would also like to mention that when the culters left to the Isengate, the player could hear a blood-curdling scream. Now, let's reference it to the Garnock vocal. That sounded pretty similar to me. It is from 10 years ago, so the quality is a bit self-explanatory, but again, the bass is pretty much the same. It could be that the culters left into the Isengate so they could be safe from Garnock, which would be let out of Ashland soon. But again, StarStable has been going more towards the Devil's Gap and Pandorian side of the story, so I don't think that the main event will be in the Ashlands. Now, I would also like to include a few sounds that I will say my opinion to in a little bit. These files are pretty scary to look at. Basically, it's called Sand Dies, Garnock Emerges. The sound is pretty self-explanatory as well as the title. Mr. Sands will die at the hands of Garnock. Mr. Sands worships Garnock, and I believe Garnock is using the death of his partner against him. So either Garnock turned against him and ate him, or he used himself as a sacrifice. I would also like to include a theory that I've thought about a few times about the Dark Riders possibly turning onto the side of the Soul Riders because they will know Garnock is evil. Mr. Sands could realize that he is using the death of his partner against him, and Draco, I don't know, maybe he'll just come to his senses. And the Dark Riders, I mean the girls, could also be on our side after Garnock turns against them. And Mr. Sands could have realized that he is evil. That's why he tried to fight him, but he turned into a little snack. There is a few backup to my theory about the girls turning out to our side. We have got all of the battle scenes with the Dark Riders. So it could either be that we fight them or they fight Garnock. The name says Garnock Battle and the Dark Rider. So I think they'll be fighting him, which further shows that they will be on our side. I will read a few of the names of these sounds to you and play them, but I will not be saying an opinion. Woman Shriek, Tentacle Squish, Magic book explosion. Lightning strike. Garnock tentacle movement. Garnock idle short. Portal open and portal impact. And for the last one, there's a 30-second Garnock vision. There are a lot more sounds that I don't think are important, and we're already at 20 minutes of the video, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. The last thing that I would like to say is my opinion. I think that the Ashlands will be released eventually, even if it is just a little chunk of the storyline. We should get this area, as StarStable will probably release the whole map eventually. I don't think we will be getting it soon, maybe in a year or two, but everybody has said that ever since 2014. So we can't really know. But I think that we will be getting a main quest in the Devil's Gap that will be about fighting Garnock. Maybe not in the Ashlands. Let me know your opinions in the comments, and let me know if you would like another StarStable documentary on anything else. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and Alia signing out.